Welcome, small business owners. I'm Amy Walker, and I am excited to get to spend this lunch hour with you, helping you strategize around your business for the fourth quarter of the year. So I know when fourth quarter hits, a lot of times we're getting really into that, got to finish the goals, got to make sure that I hit that finish line and that I run strong till the end. And I actually want you to approach the fourth quarter a little bit differently. I want you to approach the fourth quarter as really your first quarter, because I think what happens sometimes is we make bad decisions in the fourth quarter because we are trying to make a miracle happen, or we're trying to just hustle and we try to pull things together too quickly, and we don't go through the fourth quarter with a strong enough strategy, which definitely affects how we start the new year. And so what I want to invite you to do is to really look at, how do I want to run my business over the long haul? And let's spend this fourth quarter working on our strategy, on our systems, on our infrastructure for our company, so that we can go into next year rocking. Also, I think it's going to help you have a stronger finish for this year. So I'm not saying let's lose sight of our 2017 goals and just jump into 2018. I'm saying we need to really make sure that we're going for the best strategy possible. And sometimes when we get to that end of the year and we've still got that goal that we want to hit, we get a little frantic in how we make our decisions, and we get a little frantic in how we approach our business. So the goal is that we are going to rock out our fourth quarter and move into the new year being really strong in our strategies. So let me give a couple housekeeping items. I know you're all muted because we don't want to have to worry about background noise. However, I also want you to be able to ask questions. So you can pull up the chat, you can ask questions, and they'll pop up and I can see them. And let's make this as interactive as possible for you to be able to feel like this was a very good investment of your time. So some of my goals for you when we get done with this webinar are that, number one, you will feel confident in your year-end strategy and know what needs to happen for you to reach your goals. Number two, that we're going to shift your mindset around how you think about your business. There are far too many small business owners who are really in this space of, I got to do it all myself, and I'm constantly in the hustle, and I just need to work harder and work harder and work harder. And the challenge is that's not maintainable growth. So am I interested in your fourth quarter? Yes, but I will be honest with you, I'm a whole lot more interested in your next 5 years of business and how those go. So we're going to shift our mindset from being that entrepreneur who feels like they're always in the hustle and they've got to just work harder, and start looking at our businesses really strategically, so that we can see what are the holes that we need to fill in. Because when your business has all of the necessary components in place, your numbers naturally go up. Every single year, you naturally have improvements. And business growth becomes more smooth, and it's easy to maintain your growth because you're growing at a good progression. So we're going to work on those two things. I'm also going to give you some insights into things that I would recommend doing in your business through this last quarter of the year in each of those key areas in order to make sure that you're strong and ready to go for next year. So as we jump in here, I'd love to hear from each of you. Tell me where you're from and tell me what your business is, and go ahead and put that in the chat so I can just kind of see who all we've got. So it looks like we got 11 people on the line, so I would love to hear, and then we do have other people that are going to be watching the playback as well. But I'd love to hear from each of you. What is your business? Okay, welcome from Vancouver, Mr. Ghani. Good to have you here. And tell us again what your business is. So Dennis, Utah Small Manufacturing, congratulations, that's great. I started my business in Utah. It's a great place to be. And you have beautiful mountains this time of year. I miss the fall leaves. So the rest of you, go ahead and tell us where you're from and what your business is. And I am going to start the screen share here, and then we're going to get going with our data. So pull this back up and start our slideshow. Here we go. ceOWNERSHIP is a concept that I have been teaching small business owners all year. It's actually, we're working on a ceOWNERSHIP book, and doing interviews right now with business owners to get this book out next year. But what ceOWNERSHIP is it's the problem that small business owners face, where you are both the business owner who's in the day-to-day operations. You know, if you're a dentist, you're cleaning teeth. If you are in manufacturing, you are doing manufacturing. But at the same time, your business is small enough that you don't normally have a designated CEO. So you're both. So ceOWNERSHIP is the concept of how do we manage both sides of that equation. So some of the things that we're going to work on is how to create sustainable growth without drowning in chaos, how to love how you make your money. I am a big fan of business owners that actually enjoy life. Imagine that. And sometimes, you know, the business is making money, but it's at a price and you feel like the price is maybe your sanity or your capacity because you feel pretty maxed out. I'm going to show you the difference between a fulfillment-focused business model versus a foundation-focused model and why you can make more money in the foundation model. We're going to talk about how to break bottlenecks. Just so we're clear, and we can get this out of the way right now, it doesn't have to hurt anybody's feelings. You're usually the bottleneck in your business, which means you are the thing that is slowing down growth because there's only one of you, and you may be great and amazing at what you do, but there is still only one of you, and you get to the end of your hours, and that's where you cap out. So if your business is too dependent on you alone, I know you're not hitting the productivity that you could. So we're going to talk about how to stop being that bottleneck. Can anyone relate to that, by the way? Am I the only one who knows what that feels like to look at it and go, oh yeah, I got a million ideas for growth, but I'm out of hours in the day, so now what? Can you relate to that? If you can, go ahead and put it in the chat box so that I know I'm not crazy and I'm not alone here in my thinking. We are also going to talk about how to build your business like a business versus just working for yourself. There's a big distinction there. I'm going to show you the 7-figure formula. We're going to analyze your business, and I'm going to give you tips on what are things I think business owners should be focusing on this last quarter in order to finish out the year strong and go into next year with a good, solid plan in place. So if it sounds like you're in the right place, go ahead and just type in and say, this is sounding good. I'm excited to have you here. I always love to introduce everyone to my family because this is my reason why I do business, and also one of my core beliefs in business, that we do not have to we don't have to sacrifice our lifestyle, our family, the things that we love and the things that are important to us in order to be successful. Success really should go hand in hand. So my mission statement and who we are as a company is we focus on 4 pillars of success with our clients. So one is financial strength. I want your business to be financially viable. I want it to make money. I want it to be profitable. But there's 3 other pillars of success. Another one is living in alignment with your personal beliefs. I am a mom to 5 boys, and when we go out in public, I get a lot of this, like, you know, like they're mentally counting. How many are there? How long does that line go? There are only 5. Sometimes it feels like 25. But I love that I get to live my life in alignment with my values of being a mother and being a wife and being a member of my faith community. And number 3 is your time freedom. So being able to, next week, this week, we leave tomorrow. We're going on vacation with our family and taking fall break. And, you know, we are done out of the office usually by 4:30 each day, because then we're on to activities with our family and our children. So that time freedom is huge. And the last one is strong relationships. So strong relationships inside of your company, strong relationships with your family, with the people who are important to you, and strong relationships with your clients. And for me, that's what success is. It's not just money. It's the whole picture. So we've got to build a business that creates that for you, because there are far too many business owners in the US that are making money, but they feel like their business runs their life. So we're going to shift out of that and start doing business a little better. I believe in us. I think we can do business better. Okay, so I got to move this over here for a minute. Here's the challenge of business ownership. The challenge is you've got 2 things going on. So you have the actual operations. So we look at this guy here who's the CEO, but you know what? He's not fully the CEO. He still has to cut hair if he's a barber. He still has to see patients if he's a doctor. He's still got to be on the job site if he's a contractor. And we really do need to learn how to balance those two roles well so that one's not happening at the expense of the other. So here's what we are going to look at. We want to really look at, why did we start this business in the first place? A lot of times we started it because we wanted to make more money and we wanted more time freedom. And we thought, oh, this will be so great. I'll start a business and then I'll have more time. I won't have to go to the office every day. And I know what the boss bills out for the work that I do, so I'm just going to start my own business. But the reality of business ownership sometimes looks different. Sometimes when we step into that role, what we get is there's a lot more pressure. I've got not just my 7 people in my family depending on me, it's also all of my team members. Their families depend on me as well. And so sometimes we end up with more pressure and more work. How many of you feel like you're up early working on the business and you are going to bed late working on the business? And when you're not working on the business, you're getting text messages and you're still thinking about working on your business. So we want to shift this and create a better flow. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. Antoine and I had a conversation this morning with a business owner and went over his business plan and said, how does it sound? He said, it sounds great. Sounds like a lot of work. And I said, yes, exactly. Opportunity, meet work, they go hand in hand together. So what we really want to understand is that you've got to pay the price to build the structure. And if you'll get really committed to it, really serious, it's going to take you a year. Now, I know many small business owners who have done their first year of business for 5 years in a row because they haven't bit the bullet and just gone after that structure and that support. So I'm going to show you what it looks like today, and I'll be really honest with you. My invitation for all of you is that you commit to structuring your company, and you commit now versus later. Now, that commitment is a commitment for you. It does not affect my business if your business is well structured or not. It really doesn't. But for your sake, I hope that you'll take this seriously and you will get out of just hustling in your day-to-day and into working on building your company structure so that you can get to that point of freedom. Structure trumps talent. And this is a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, but I hope you all hear me out on this. I want you each to think of somebody who does what you do, but not as well as you do it, but they make more money. A speaker, I'm a professional speaker. I can speak I can think of a lot of speakers who are better than I am. But here's the key. I don't know hardly any speakers who have a better foundation than I have. So my business numbers look great. And I'm sure people speak at events and conferences with me and they're like, how's that girl doing what she's doing? Because I'm a better speaker than she is. And if they, ever were to ask me that, I would say, absolutely, you are. But you know what? My structure is amazing. And so I want you to think of that. Can you think of somebody in your industry who they do what you do, maybe not as well, but their business is actually more profitable? That is because they've got a better infrastructure in place. And structure trumps talent every single time. So the interesting thing is, what I see small business owners invest in is investing in the thing they already do well. So if they're a writer, they go to writing conferences. You already write well. If they're a hairstylist, they go to hairstyling conferences. You're already good at hair. And I know you have to keep up on your trend. I'm not trying to discount that. I don't want to discount keeping up on your industry. I just want to suggest that sometimes we put more money into education on something that we already do well enough. And what I would recommend instead is that you invest into your systems and into your structure, because that's where your biggest growth is going to come from. If you're good and competent with what you do. If you're not, maybe consider a change of business, because you got to be competent in your core area. So let's talk about these bottlenecks. So the bottleneck is anytime that you are slowing down business growth, that you've got the business, if you think of this shape of a bottle, there's all this space here, and then it goes to a little skinny neck at the top. And at that little skinny neck is where it slows down. So maybe you are the only person selling in your company. That's a bottleneck, because you cannot sell to everybody in the world. And also, if you ever go on vacation, it slows things down. Maybe you are the only person that can do copywriting, or maybe you are the only person that schedules appointments, or you are the only person that can see patients. Anytime you're the only one that can do something, that becomes a bottleneck in your company. So I was talking with my team on Monday, and I had given an assignment to one of my team members, and she ran with it before I'd given her all of the instructions, and what she produced wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And I said, I went back to her and I said, so actually, thank you for your effort, but I had a template for this. I just wanted you to update the template. And then on our call together, she said, so is there a template for everything? Because she's newer on my team. And I said, pretty much yes. So pretty much anything I ask you to do, there is a process in place. So I really appreciate the excitement and getting right in there and getting on it. But pretty much everything that you're going to be asked to do inside this company, there's a process, there's a template, there's something to follow. And that is what keeps me from being the bottleneck. So I like to look at this as well as if anyone in my company were to get kidnapped tomorrow or hit by a bus, would we still be able to run? Not that we wouldn't be sad and devastated, but would we still be able to function? If I died tomorrow, do I have a viable company to pass on to my husband and children? Or would the company close its doors tomorrow? And that's always my goal, is to be able to be a fully functioning company that is something that I can pass on and build legacy to my family. There's far too many entrepreneurs right now where the business dies with them. They don't have a legacy business to pass on that the children can run and the grandchildren can run. And maybe somewhere down the line they sell it and that creates the inheritance for everyone. There's far too many companies that are not reaching that point. And so what you have is one generation of entrepreneur who experiences a little bit of feast or famine, and then you get another generation of entrepreneur who experiences kind of similar feast or famine. Everybody works hard. We all have that entrepreneur bug, but we're not able to build something that can be bought or sold or passed on. And that's where we really want to get to. So I invite each of you to identify right now your top 3 areas where you are bottlenecking your business growth. So just write them down. By the way, new level, new devil, as they say. Every time I reach a new level in my business, I become a new bottleneck. So there's nothing bad about you being the bottleneck, but we just don't want to stay the bottleneck. So I can look at my business today and I can say, where am I a bottleneck? And I can probably find a couple of areas if I look hard enough. You know what? Here's one. I am the only person that has been trained on how to teach our 3-day events. And so if I got hit by a car on my way to our 3-day event, that would be a problem. So that's a bottleneck, right? I need other people who can teach the content in our workshops. So just look and see what you can find. And when you've got that, you can type into the chat and just say, I've got it. All right, next is how to tell if you are running your business like a business or if you're just working for yourself. Working for yourself, by the way, not that much fun. You tend to be your worst boss ever. I've never had another boss that expects perfection of me, like superhuman performance of me. And I've also never had a boss that tells me that I should probably lose some pounds before I wear a certain dress on stage, right? Like, we are sometimes the worst boss. And then sometimes when you're your own boss, you don't even pay yourself. Isn't that awful? So we want to make sure that we're shifting into not just working for ourselves, but really building a business. So here's some symptoms of working for yourself. You're in sprinter work input, where you're constantly on the move. You're constantly running, constantly hustling. You're in that who's next? Where am I going to get my next client? What's the next deal that will close? You tend to be focused on your services and trading dollars for hours. Oftentimes you're a solopreneur with just a few systems, and your income tends to be up and down depending on what's going on in your life. Your business is a little bit, it's just a little bit like dependent on, are you sick and then business slows down? Or are you on vacation? Or are you moving? Is a family member ill? And your business follows that trend of your personal life, which, let's be honest, is stressful. Because when you have big stress things going on in life, to add in another big stress of now business is struggling, that's stressful. What we love is when our business runs smoothly enough that when we're down in our life, our business is still stable. So at least we know we got something working. So here's some indicators that you are running your business like a business. You're focusing on building structure. You have consistency in everything that you do. So no matter what's going on in your life, what's going on in the business is consistent. You're focusing on strategy. You have a team. You're consistently marketing. You have products and programs that support the services that you do, so it's not just trading hours for dollars. Those are kind of some indicators there. So I want you to give yourself an honest, gut level evaluation. Are you working for yourself or are you running a business? And just choose what side of the fence are you on. No judgment here because we all start somewhere, but it's a good thing to just kind of take stock on. So let's talk about the fulfillment model of business. In this fulfillment model, what we have is we spend the majority of our time in 3 areas: sales, marketing, and fulfillment. And we kind of bounce back and forth. So it goes like this. Oh, I need some clients. Okay, let's put together a marketing plan. We're gonna run some Facebook ads. We're gonna do an event, or I'm gonna book a speaking gig. And then we have leads, and now we're like, okay, now I got people to sell to, let's close some deals. And then we have clients, and now I have to take care of the clients, and the clients take a long time. And then pretty soon we're going, oh gosh, I've been so busy working with clients, I forgot about marketing. So then we jump back into marketing, we sell some more, we fulfill. We market, we sell, we fulfill. And it just, kind of a tiring way to run your business. It works though. I'm not trying to knock this. You can do it, and actually you can build a 6-figure business this way. It's going to be very challenging to get deep into the 6-figure mark, or to pass that 6 figures, or to pass the $1 million mark is going to be a challenge. Because what we really want is we want a foundation model if you want bigger growth. So in the foundation model, there's 6 different areas of your business. This is the first time I've used Zoom for a webinar, and it's blocking my, keep having to move this. Okay, that works. Try this. So we've got sales, we've got marketing, we've got systems, we have fulfillment, product development, and then leadership and scalability. Those are our 6 areas that we want to be making sure that we are focusing on. So we're going to go through each one of these, and I'm going to show you what your role and responsibility is, what should be happening in that department, and also I'm going to give you a tip for this particular season, this 4th quarter, on each of these areas. But those are the 6. So go ahead and write those down: sales, marketing, systems, fulfillment, product development, leadership, and scalability. And I am going to check and see if we've got any questions in the chat here. Okay, no questions yet. I'll come back in and chat here in a little bit, just make sure I'm not missing any. So sales. Here's the gut-wrenching question that I love asking business owners. How many hours were spent last week having sales conversations in your business? How many hours were spent last week having sales conversations in your business? A lot of times when I ask that question, business owners get this look on their face like, oh, ouch, yikes, because it's never as many as we want it to be. And the reason why is because there is no possible way that you can spend 40 hours a week in sales. You're the business owner. You've got marketing to look over. You have fulfillment to look over. You have leadership and team members to work with. You got to create content. Or work on product development. So you have a lot of things to do that are not just sales. And so sometimes what happens is those things eat up all of our time, and pretty soon there's no time left for sales. So we want to get to the point where you have a sales department, you have a sales team, you have other people besides just you who are focusing on these tasks. So here's some of the tasks that should be going on inside of your sales department every day. Pre-qualifying leads, seeing who is a good fit for us. Holding sales conversations, following up with leads and prospects. I don't know about all of you, but as a business owner, I'm awful with follow-up because I am busy. I don't have time. So my sales team, even though I have the best closing ratio, it's on the first conversations. If I have to do multiple follow-up calls, oh my goodness, who's got time for that, right? It's busy. And so when we get a system in place that pings us and tells us, hey, Amy, follow up with this person, or we have team members who are assisting with follow-up, then we make sure we don't have things fall through the cracks. Also, you should be setting and tracking weekly sales goals to line up with the monthly, quarterly, and annual goals. You should be hiring, training, incentivizing, and managing your sales team, and upholding sales standards. Now, the first three things on here, my goal for your business is that you are not the primary person doing those things. The second set, so 4, 5, and 6, those are yours. You're going to be doing that until the point where you have a really great sales manager on your team. So let me give you a couple of tips for what to focus on with your sales in this third quarter. Positioning is huge. There is more money spent this time of year than any other time of year in our nation, but everyone is purchasing differently. So I will spend more money in October, November, December than I spend probably the rest of the year combined, but most of it is going towards my children or towards family members or towards my husband. I don't direct a lot of money towards myself during this time of year. So sometimes the person you sell to changes during the third quarter. Maybe normally you sell directly to women, and now you want to sell to husbands who are purchasing for their wives. If you are in business to business, you need to think through what are their business goals through the third quarter or fourth quarter, and then you've got to sell them based on where they're at fourth quarter. Because a lot of companies, you'll start hearing different objections this time of year. Things like, our budgets are maxed for the year and we've got to wait until next year. You'll hear that. You'll hear things like, well, we're going to have to look at this in January because we're not allowed any new spending this year. All of those things you might hear, but that's not the full story. The truth is, they're already deciding how they're spending next year's money. And so if you want to be someone they're spending with for next year, you got to be having the conversation now. So you need to know how to position yourself as highly relevant to them at this period of the year if you're going to be able to successfully sell. So just a couple tips for end of the year sales. Next is marketing. So marketing is what I like to say is that one child. Any of you who have large families get this. It's the one child that requires more energy and more attention than everyone else. I have that child in my family where every day it's like, Mom, I need money for band. Mom, I need money he's in the 7th grade and he's taking the ACT this year because he scored really high on something. Mom, I need money to take the ACTs. I'm like, you're in the 7th grade. But he just, every day, right? Lots of time, lots of money. Love him, but lots of time, lots of money. That's how you're going to feel about marketing. So marketing, there is an endless amount of things that you could be doing, but here's just some that I think are pretty common that happen inside of a marketing department. Managing the social media, maintaining websites and landing pages, creating graphics, building the marketing calendar. And I like all of my clients to have a marketing calendar and a 5 to 7 point marketing strategy where you've got different things that you're doing throughout the year so that you're never out of leads. If you have a marketing problem this month, let me just predict the future. You have a sales problem in 3 months. And so we never want a gap in the marketing calendar. We need leads coming in consistently that whole time. You are going to be measuring the performance of your marketing campaigns. Content creation, securing partners for partner marketing and cross referrals, copywriting, email marketing. Now, out of this, the things that you should really be focused on the most are numbers 4 and 5 as the business owner. The other things that we'd love to have you be the one who creates the marketing strategy, but get some help with implementation. And if you learn how to hire correctly, you can actually get some really, really talented people working on your marketing team for very inexpensive rates because they don't have to be the strategist, they just have to be the implementer. So a couple tips for marketing in this fourth quarter. Again, it's about positioning. You've got to make your marketing campaigns relevant and capture their time and attention this year because money's flowing, but people are stingy with their time. They're busy. They have a lot of things going on. So can you figure out where the people will be during this time of year, and can you connect with them where they're already going to be instead of trying to bring them to something new and something different? So a couple tips for your fourth quarter marketing. Marketing and sales are two big ones for most people. And I want you to think through, what is one thing that you could do in sales and what is one thing that you could do in marketing that you think would make a really big difference? What do you think? Could you, you know, like what are your options there? Things that you can do that would just really make a big difference. Okay, other things, let's keep going here. So we've got fulfillment. Fulfillment is an area that I really do not spend a lot of time working with my clients on. I kind of expect that my clients already be competent in their area of what they do. So this is where you're creating a winning experience for your clients as they use and interact with your product, your services, or your programs. This is customer service, this is delivery. Like I said, I expect my clients to be good at what they do, their core skill. Now, I do work with them sometimes on how to create better systems to enhance customer service and to support their customer service. But like if you're a really bad hairstylist, there's nothing I can do about that. I do not even hardly know how to do my own hair, let alone help you to learn how to be better at doing other people's, right? So you got to be good in that area, but you don't want to get stale in that area. You want to be fresh. You want to make sure that you're creating that winning experience and that you have clients who rave about you. And a lot of that comes down to your culture and how you train your team to interact with them. So that you've already got to be good at. A suggestion, a tip that I have here for customer service is do something nice for your team and for your clients at the end of the year. Give some sort of a year-end special, some sort of a client appreciation sale, an event. It's a great time of year to do an event and bring all of your people together, but just something nice towards the end of the year really is a good idea. Okay, product development is next. So product development, this is where you're going to be creating new products. You're going to be perfecting your existing products, creating upgrades. The reason why this is so important is because we don't want to be Radio Shack. I want you all to think about how cool Blockbuster was back in the day. I remember in college, that was like almost all of my husband and I were dating. We'd always end up at Blockbuster looking through the shelves, you know, finding a movie to rent. They were DVDs back then though. So that was what we were doing. And now you look at Blockbuster, they did not create upgrades to their products. They didn't expand the way that they delivered. Their core products stayed the same and life and the world outpaced it. So you don't want to be the Blockbuster, you don't want to be the Radio Shack, the Sears, the Kmart, all those big brands that were around when I was growing up. They're struggling or gone. What you want to be is Apple. So Apple has been around for a long time, but they continue to innovate. They continue to come up with new ideas and creative products and ways for you to engage with them. You know, in the early 2000s, they got into the music business, and it made no sense because they were a computer company who was now a music company, and now they are like the mass communication company. And so be innovative and don't be afraid to try new things here. Just because people like it today doesn't mean it's going to be relevant tomorrow. So make sure you're paying attention there. Okay, so product development, my tip for the last quarter of the year is don't do any product development the last quarter of the year. There's too much going on, and it's not a great time to create new products or new programs because people are not really ready to learn about something brand new from you this quarter. They kind of want to have their familiar things that they know, like, and love, just with a Christmas bow put on top of it and a holiday twist. So I wouldn't be looking to create or innovate anything particularly new right now. Now, knowing that, remember that there are a lot of companies who are going to release new products in time for the holidays, but they didn't develop them right now. Does that make sense? So if you're looking at it saying, I want something new to offer by the holiday season, you're too late. So what you would do better at, and you'll have more success at, is repackaging, repurposing, and repositioning something that people are already familiar with because you don't have time to develop to take advantage of those holiday sales. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a great time to release, market, and sell new things. It's just not a great time to develop them. There's just not time. We're too late to the game. All right, systems is one of I have a love-hate relationship with systems. I love having them in my business. The actual process of sitting down and mapping them out and coming up with all the pieces is a lot of work, and it makes my hair go gray, I think. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at what are the systems that our business really needs in order to be successful. So every business has different systems, but sometimes people say, I don't even know what systems I need. Here's a few. They may or may not be the ones that your business needs, but just to give you some ideas. A CRM, and managing your CRM, getting it set up, that's what keeps track of all of your clients. Anybody who has ever gone through my system, I can pull them up in the system, and I can see every webinar they've ever attended with us. I can see where I met them. I can see notes on any conversations that have been had with them. I can see their purchase history. Like, I really have a good database to know the client journey. It gives me great data to be able to work with them. So managing your database, that would be like cleaning up the database, and you have different types of databases, but making sure it's clean, it's up to date, you don't have a lot of useless information that's clogging it up. QuickBooks is the financial system that every business owner should have. In addition to QuickBooks, a lot of people have QuickBooks and they use it to input their information, but there's not a system in place for the business owner to be able to look at and review the profit and loss on a regular basis. So sometimes as the business owner, you just need someone to pull that report for you and give it to you in your inbox so that you actually go through it. Cataloging and storing information, you could have a system for that. Providing internal supports for all of your departments and how they move back and forth between each other. You could have information for that. But basically, every area of your business that can possibly be systematized, we want it to happen. So a lot of times as business owners, we keep all of the information inside of our head. And then when somebody is on our team, we try to dump our brain into theirs, and then that person leaves and we feel like we have to start from scratch again. What I want you to do is dump your brain into a system, and then anybody that comes in can run through that system. So those are some of the things that you're going to be doing there. My advice for fourth quarter systems is this is a great time to look at what you want to have in place for the new year and to delegate and get people supporting you in building those systems, because your systems can make a huge impact. So let me just give you an example of a system that made a big impact for us. Infusionsoft is a system that we use. It's our CRM. And I did not start off my business with Infusionsoft because back then Infusionsoft was quite a substantial investment. They've made their product a lot more accessible now. So you get the same product I did, but for like a fraction of the price that I got it for. So I didn't start with it in the beginning. So I was using an inferior CRM and I was inputting all of my information, and my list was very frustrating because I would put all these leads in, but they were not very good at actually getting the second opt-in. And so out of the 2,000 people that I put in there, I could actually only email like 10% of them. It was so painful. 10% of the people that I was working hard to get could I actually communicate with through email. So when we upgraded to Infusionsoft, our list went, first of all, we had full access to email all 2,000. And then we were able to, through their marketing automation, we grew our email list to 10,000 people within 2 years. I mean, it just grew quickly. So that's an example of a system that it's going to take you time, but it actually makes a big impact in your overall bottom line. So what I would do is do an evaluation of your systems this last quarter. Where are they at? What needs to be built? What order are you going to build them in? What's the most important thing first? And then come up with a game plan so that you go into the new year with stronger systems in place. All right. How am I doing on time? Okay, we're going to end right on time. So leadership and scalability is next. In leadership and scalability, what you're focusing on here is your growth strategy for your business. You're going to be creating standard operating procedures. You want to focus on how to retain skills even when people leave the team. Like we talked about, create the system that maintains the skills. So if a person leaves, you just bring in another talented person and they work the system. You'll be working on hiring budgets and projections. You'll be posting jobs, doing interviews, training, and managing your teams. This right here is an area that is so critical, and sometimes business owners have a hard time doing because they always feel like they don't have money to hire. Have you ever said that? I would love to hire a team, but I just can't afford to hire. If you've said that, you can go ahead and put it in the chat box and let me know, because I'm telling you, it's so common. I want the team, can't afford to hire. Well, we've got to shift how we think about hiring, because the truth is, in our virtual hiring economy, you can't afford not to hire. So, for example, let me just give you an example. Let's say that you have a task that you do. What's a common task? Updating your social media. So it's important, it needs to be done. You're not going to get paid to update your social media statuses. You can pay somebody else to pull from content that you have in other places, to find interesting articles, come up with engaging content. And you could probably, if you really created the strategy and directed that person, you could probably honestly hire some teenager who loves social media and is on there anyway, pay him $8-9 an hour to go and post every day. So that time that is freed up, you could then, and maybe it's only 5 hours a week, but then you have 5 hours a week now that you could spend on sales calls. We just found you 5 hours. And in that time that you spend on sales calls, I guarantee in 5 hours a week of sales calls, you're going to make more than the, what's 9 times 5? The $45 that you spent paying that person to do your social media. So a lot of times the challenge isn't that we can't afford to hire. Quite honestly, it's that we don't know how to hire. We don't understand things like there's 4 different pay scales and you should be splitting up your hours. So what a lot of companies do is they look at, we've got the strategist, we've got the manager, we've got the producer, we've got the implementer, and their pay scales go like this. So the strategist costs the most. So we say, well, I can't afford to hire a strategist, so I'm just going to hire someone here in the middle. But then you want them to do things that a strategist can do for you, and you're paying them to do things that an implementer could do for you. So overall, you're spending more money. So when you have a good hiring strategy in place, you're prepared to really go in and grow your business, and you understand how you're going to generate the money to be able to pay for them. My first year in business, I was kind of a solopreneur. I did hire my sister to work for me for a few hours a week. I had one person that was setting appointments for me, and we did 6 figures in business, and I was super excited. My second year, I said, you know what? This year, I feel like we need to grow a sales team. And we quadrupled our sales that second year. Not because the products had changed, not because I had changed. It was because we had more people selling than just me. So this is the key to scalability and to growing your business and growing your profits, is really learning how to hire and get the right people on your team. So fourth quarter, my recommendation is put together your dream team. Who are the people that you really need on your team, and how much time for each of those jobs? And then I'd love to spend some time training you on how to make that all come together. All right, so here's really where I want you to spend your effort this fourth quarter, is being the CEO-owner. I want you to be the CEO of your small business. Your business needs it. It deserves it. It's a necessary part of your growth. What I really want you to spend your time on is setting, tracking, and measuring your goals for company growth. I want you to be projecting your numbers and your profitability. I want you to oversee the coordination between your different departments. I want you to know the trends in your business. I want you to be working today for what is going to be 2018. So yes, we're going to finish out our year, and we're still going to do the hustle till the end, because that's what the CEO-owner does. We work in the day-to-day. But the challenge is, if you haven't thought through 2018 yet, you're behind on 2018. We've got to get to the point where we can really spend time now working on what is going to be happening down the line. It's really critical and important. So that's where I want you to be spending your time. That's my #1 priority for you between now and the end of the year. I'm going to give you a quick case study here and show you what happens when you take this approach to your business, what's possible. So this is Keystone Insurance. This is one of our companies. Brent Thurman owns this company, and he's based out of Utah. Phenomenal insurance agent if you ever need any type of insurance, home, mortgage, I guess those are the same. So home insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, they're just great with insurance. So when we started working with them, here was where they were at in their business. We identified 5 main challenges. Leadership was one. So Brent was spending most of his time managing clients instead of working on the business growth strategies. He had a lot of great ideas, but he just could never seem to find the time to get them implemented. And he really needed to empower his team to do more so that he could spend time working on those systems and on bringing in new business. Management, there were some challenges there too. The team was really comfortable in their current numbers in production. He had bigger goals, but the team was like, hey, we've been doing this a long time. It's going pretty good. I'm good with this. So they needed clearer goals and instructions and follow through to increase their productivity and their profitability. Marketing was another one. They had all their leads flow coming through one source, and they just felt like we need to diversify. Time management, the whole team was constantly being interrupted with their work by prospective clients calling in to get a bid. So it was productive, but it was still disruptive. And then we had the sales process. So there wasn't a streamlined sales process. So results varied a lot. This person might be here, this person might be here, this person might be here. And they didn't have a lot of consistency across the board because there was no streamlined process. So what we worked on with them is we worked on first getting Brent into that role of being the CEO. So he worked on his leadership style to be more of a CEO and less of an implementer. We worked on management systems, so the team implemented meetings and goal setting, reporting, stronger tracking of activity. We put benchmarks in place, and underperforming team members were coached to increase their performance, and they all did. They all got up to where we wanted them to be. We worked on partner marketing. So Brent secured a very lucrative strategic partnership that opened up a flow of new, good business, not just new business, great business. Brent was also able to adjust his workflow to give him time and space to work on the essential strategies for business growth. He created more time for his family and for spirituality. And then the sales process, the team adjusted their process of getting bids and handling the follow-up calls in the sales process to increase their closes. So that's what we worked on. And here was the wins. The company had a stretch goal number that they'd never hit before. It was like their lofty goal, and they hit it, and it became their new norm. They didn't miss it again. They created a successful partnership and a process that could be repeated with other partners. They increased employee performance. And then the personal wins. Brent adjusted his work hours to allow more time for faith, family, and play, and he no longer felt guilty about going to the gym each day or heading home early for a family activity because he just knew that his business was managed. Doesn't that sound awesome? I love it. Here's what Brent had to say. Working with Amy over the last year has brought a new level of clarity that I didn't have before. As a business owner who was already having some level of success, it was not only difficult, but a little scary to imagine changing things up, even though I knew that we could do better. The visions, ideas, workflows, and time management skills that Amy suggested allowed us to increase our new production by 30%. Now, you might look at it and say, well, I'm new. I want more than 30% increase. That's great. But this was a 25-year-old business. So 30% increase in new business is huge for an established business. And it allowed me to lead with more confidence and efficiency as a business owner. Everyone needs a coach like Amy in their corner to bring a clearer vision of what's possible. And I just love that picture of Brent with his son, just spending time where he loves to be in the outdoors with his family. So I hope you can relate to the experience that Brent had. It's very common in business owners today. And what we really want to do, I don't think we have time for this case study. We're going to skip that one. So here's what the challenge really is. If we just break it down, let's go over the challenge and let's go over where we want to go from here. So the challenge is you have a lot of ideas for your business growth. I do not find that business owners lack in ideas. They have tons of ideas, but they don't have time to implement. You're really skilled in your core product, but you don't know how to run all the areas of your business. It's a struggle to balance hiring, training, and managing your team while still producing income. You sell products or services, then you get busy fulfilling, and then you struggle to keep the focus on selling, and so the income tends to kind of go up and down like this. And you honestly, I know this about you, you desperately want more out of life than being in your business 100% of the time. And sometimes when these problems go unchecked for a while, we feel like our business gets our best and our family gets whatever leftovers we have to give, if any. And I've been there, and it's not a fun way to run your business. So what I want you all to commit to, and I want you to write in the chat box, if you're committed, write in, I am committed to building systems and structure in my business. I am committed to building systems and structure in my business. I want to build a new brand of business owner. I want you to run your business like a ceOWNER, that hybrid of CEO and business owner. I want you to have strong systems that support your growth. I want you to build an amazing team that works with efficiency and synergy. I want you to structure your sales system. And I want you to create a marketing plan to always keep you in lead flow. I want you to be the leader that your organization needs, and let's equip and train your team to better perform in their roles. That's what it's going to take. So how many of you are committed to this? I'm going to actually peek over here and see how many of you are committed to this. Got to move some things around. Let me see in the chat box if we got committed people. Oh, it's down here already. Okay, so we got some committed people here. Congratulations. And a question here as well, which I'll answer really quick. So what's the 5 to 7 point strategy? It's having 5 to 7 different things that you're doing for marketing on a regular, consistent basis. So for me, I do speaking gigs, I do webinars, I have a LinkedIn campaign that I run, I do Facebook advertising, I have a blog, I submit articles for publication, and I do contact marketing. So that's my 7 different strategies that I use. I use them throughout the year. And how I measure the performance is every campaign that we run has its own tag when it comes into our system. So we can see how many leads are coming in, and we can also see how many sales came out. So we can measure the performance there. So just getting your systems up to par so you're ready to do that makes a big difference. Good question, Mr. Ghani. All right, so I would love to give you an invitation to help you crank out 2018. Let's get your strategies in place. Let's get you ready to move to the next level. So I host a 3-day intense workshop called the CEO Circle. If you're looking for a motivating, inspiring, relaxing, full of dance parties type of event, this is not where you would go. This is 3 days with me and my team of trainers in a room with 20 business owners. And we are really working on day 1, your marketing, day 2 is sales, day 3 is leadership. So in day 1, we build your 5 to 7 point marketing strategy with you. We teach you how to create a marketing calendar for the year so it's calendared out. We teach you how to create a production timeline. We teach you what are the 5 components to make any marketing campaign work and help you understand how to build a successful campaign from start to finish. And we teach you what to watch in terms of your metrics to see if it's doing well. So at the end of day 1, it's the most intense day, I'm not going to lie, but at the end of day 1, you have a marketing plan in place and it's solid. It's one that you can take home and you can start working on and just rock out with. Day number 2, we're focused on sales systems. So we work on identifying what type of a system you should be running. We look at your lead stages and identify and define what each lead stage should be, what actions should happen within each one of those. We work on your scripting. We work on how to hire salespeople, how your commissions should be set up. We work on personal sales skills. Day 3 is leadership. So about day 1 and day 2, everyone's real excited. Day 3, you're starting to get that, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all this done feeling? And so day 3, we teach you how to hire, how and when to hire. So we teach you about the different pay scales and identify what are tasks that would give you the highest return if you hired out. We start with your corporate culture and your mission as a company. Then we work on now how do you hire the right people to fit with that? How do you manage those people? How do you train those people? How do you even do things like have the hard conversations if those things come up? And so we really work hard on leadership on day number 3. You get to really get out of your business for 3 days and work intensely on your business. And I promise you, you will get more done in those 3 days than you probably would in 6 months of just going through your day-to-day operations, because it's intense, it's compressed, it's really focused. You get to network with other ceOWNERs from across the country. It's really in-depth training. You have about 150 pages of workbook work that you get done. So when I say there's no dance parties, it's because there's no time. We are working hard. And I would love for all of you to be able to join us. There's 2 opportunities that are coming up. One of them is in Atlanta, Georgia, and it is next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I have 4 spots left. If 4 of you are willing to take that plunge and jump on a plane and say, yep, I'm going to be there. I'll book my ticket. I'll get there. You're going to be able to come for half price. So the tuition for this event is normally $1,000 for the 3 days, and I will actually give you a special offer. You can come for $500 because I got 4 spots left, and I'd love to have you there. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 is you can fly out to Salt Lake City, Utah in January. And the dates in January are, I'll pull those up and I'll put them in the chat here in just one second because I got to switch screens. But that is an option for you as well. If you want to move that direction, you want to start off I cannot push buttons and talk at the same time. Stop share is what I'm doing. I'm looking for a date for you. So if you're looking at it and saying, I really want to be able to get my year started off right, but I can't get there by next week, we would love to have you come in January. So here's how we're going to do this. We're just going to make this really simple. I'm going to give you my email address, and you can email me and say, I want to come. And you can say if you want to come in next week, or if you want to come to Salt Lake in January, and I will send you the link so that you can go ahead and get registered. I hope this was helpful. I hope you had some insights into maybe why your business isn't working as well as you want it to, or maybe what you can do to help get things moving in the right direction. And I would love to be a resource for you. Honestly, I have so much fun working on your business structures and strategies. It is like a playground for my brain. So let's spend those 3 days together. Let's go really in depth and let's see what we can create for you. Thank you all for being here so much. I am going to give you my email address. It is amy@amywalkerconsulting.com. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. That is my actual personal email address, so you'll reach me directly. But amy@amywalkerconsulting.com. Thank you all so much for being on here. Oh, and Ann told us the dates. January 15th, 16th, and 17th is the January event. So thank you all for being on. I really appreciate your time, and I hope this was a good investment of your lunch hour. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and take care, everyone. Thanks so much.